Hello everyone, this is Karim Fahmy. I'm an Azure Solutions Architect back again in our third part from Microsoft Azure Virtual WAN. Today we're going to talk about the Secured Virtual Hub. This is really an important part in the Azure Virtual WAN, and it took a lot of time from me. Actually, it took like 2 days testing from a lot of labs deployments, and as a result of this, I can say that the secured hub, or this model of having two secured hubs, is not mature enough. This is my personal opinion, and this is due to my results that I got after doing a lot of tests. I did a lot of tricks and games with the routing, but it didn't get any useful stuff. So if you remember last time, our scenario was that virtual machine, and this virtual machine is in a virtual network and it's connecting to a virtual hub in the WAN, and there's another virtual machine in another region and it is connecting to another virtual hub, and then this hub is connected to this hub through hub-to-hub connection by default. So this time I wanted to test to make one hub actually secured, to convert it to secured, and then I managed to convert it to secured and it succeeded. And the first thing that I got, that you cannot connect to your virtual machine anymore by public IPs. You have to connect to it through VPN or site-to-site VPN or express route. Okay, this is the first point. The second point is that when you are connected to your virtual machine, you want to connect to the other virtual machine, okay, in the other region, through the hub-to-hub connection. It's not possible anymore, unless you make the connection from your hub to your virtual network in the first region unsecured. Then now you can connect. So this is, I don't know what is the problem here. Is it a bug, or I have searched in all documentation, all the YouTube, all the bloggers, all the technical people. Till now I didn't ask Microsoft about it. But okay, so today's demo is really, I'm gonna ignore the part from the hub-to-hub connection as a secured connection. And what I'm gonna do today is that we are having one virtual hub. I'm gonna convert it to a secured hub, and this is the first part. And the second part is that we are gonna create point-to-site VPN, so I can connect to my virtual machine in the virtual network. And let's start the demo and see what's gonna happen. So now we opened our Azure portal. I know all of this can be done by scripts, but I'm just making it easy just to see or to show you how it works with GUI. And maybe later in the future we can share a little bit of code so everybody can get use of us. So when you choose your hub here and then press on convert to secured hub, then choose your hub here, then go into the wizard, Azure Firewall, yes, enabled. I'm gonna choose one IP address, okay. Default policy, that means that the policy that it's gonna be used by the firewall is gonna be the deny policy, so it's gonna deny everything, okay. And then you have to fix it after this. Then next. This is the part that if you want to use a third-party partner provider, like a security partner provider, it is used here just to filter the internet. Nothing else. So it's about internet filtering, but it cannot be used to filter the traffic between the VNETs or the VNET and the branches. Okay. Then next, we're not gonna use this for sure. Today we're gonna do the Azure Firewall and then confirm. Then now it's submitting and deploying the request that we had done after the hub has been converted. So you're gonna find it looks like this. So the icon is gonna look like this. That means it's now secured. And as you see here in the status, the firewall is deployed and everything is good. Okay, so don't think about this because this I already implemented, because it takes 30 minutes, but I'm gonna show you how is this. This is the point to site. Why I did it, because you cannot connect to your virtual machine now, except that you are going through a VPN connection or a point to site connection or express route. because it's not accepting anything now from outside, from the internet. If you want to do this through the internet, then it's a little bit of tricky, but it doesn't make sense, because you're gonna connect to your firewall, Azure Firewall, with a public IP address and do DNATing inside, so destination NATing, and then you say, yes, I want to go to this through a port, which doesn't make sense, because this is the idea of the secured hub, or the security, that you don't expose your virtual machines with a public IPs unless there is a need for this, and this can have another way to access it. Okay, so now it has been converted and it looks like this. So let's see the settings of the Secured Virtual Hub here by pressing here. So it says that manage secure provider and route settings for the secure hub is in Azure Firewall Manager. Then we have to press here, Firewall Manager. Then it will point to here. So Virtual Hub. Okay, then go here. And this is how it looks like. Firewall Manager for our secured hub. Then it shows those 2 points here. So the security providers that we are not using here. So we are not using any policies or any partners, but we can add a new policy. The default policy is that it's deny. Okay, let's see the security configuration here. Oh, as you see here, that is the peering that we already created between the hub and the virtual network of VHUB is not secured and not secured. Okay, so that means that when I connect to the virtual machine from outside, it will connect. So what actually needs to be done to make those connections secured? Then to choose the internet traffic here, Azure Firewall, go through Azure Firewall, and the private traffic also go to Firewall. That means that all of your traffic is gonna be a forced tunnel to the Azure Firewall. Let's go save here. Okay, so after it has been done, so you're gonna find those 2 parts. It was unsecured. Now it's the VNET peering. Internet traffic is secured by Azure Firewall, and the private traffic also secured by Azure Firewall. And this is the part that I was talking about, that it looks strange here. So when you apply this one here, secured by Azure Firewall, that means that the internet traffic of the VNET peering, whatever going through the VNET peering here through the going through the internet, is secured by the firewall, means that it's gonna be transferred to the firewall to be filtered, and also the private traffic. When we apply this one, it is not accessing the other hub that we have created. And even after I try to convert the other hub to a secured one, it was not working. I've searched everywhere on the documentation, any blogs, any videos, nobody's talking about this. And I don't know what is the problem here. Okay, so let's continue our demo here. So I'm gonna close this one and return back to our secured hub. And now we're gonna connect to our virtual machine. So our virtual machine, now we are in the VHUB, so our virtual machine here, let's go there, and it shouldn't work. As you see here, it's trying to connect. Then it will fail. Okay, that's cool. Why this? Because it has been secured by the Azure Firewall. That means that even if it have a public IP address, you cannot reach it. And this is the trick that I don't understand, why when we applied the Azure Virtual Firewall, the Azure Firewall, it didn't remove the IPs of the virtual machine. It should be automated like this, or it should be avoided, but it doesn't make sense to have a machine with public IP and then when you connect to the public IP, it's not there because there is an Azure Firewall. So it's a little bit weird. Anyways, so in order to connect to your virtual machine now, then you have to connect through your private IP address. And when you connect to your private IP address, you cannot connect unless you have a VPN or you have a point-to-site. And now this is the other part to create a point-to-site connection. So let's go back to our hub and connect it. So first of all, you have to create user VPN configuration. This is the first part. So it's loading here. Yes. And then let's create a user VPN configuration like this, and then type it whatever you want. So I type it P2S, for example, point to site, VPN, whatever connection. And you can select your tunnel type that you want to create, whatever. So, and then put your Azure certificate here. So in order to put your Azure certificate, you have to create your own root certificate. You have two things, root certificate and the client certificate. What is the difference? Root certificate from your, where can you create this? This is from your machine itself, the machine that you want to create from. So from my machine here, I can run the cert manager, for example, and go here, create certificate like this. I created two. How you can create them? You can create them from those two commands here. So you can take it and run it in the PowerShell. Then you can have it here and then copy and paste, and then it will work. Let's do it here. I think it's, maybe I'll change it a little bit, just make it 01, just because I already have P2S cert, root cert. So make it 01 here. I'm showing you here an example. Then you open here, then refresh, and then you got it here. So P2S certificate. And after you create the same, also the same comment for the client. Why we need the client? If you have multiple virtual machines, multiple clients on your premises that wants to connect to a point to site connection, then they will use the child certificate or the client certificate. Do not give them the root. How to export it here? So the root 01 that we created, export here, next here, next, and we'll name it root cert 01. It's gonna be created on the desktop, and next, and finish. And then you're gonna find it on your desktop. If you specify the path for sure, then you can get what is inside here. So open with Notepad. Yes, this is your certificate. I don't care to show it here because I'm not using it. But yes, yeah, that's your certificate here. And then you take it as a copy and put it here. So for example, you give it a name here, the certificate name that you're gonna put it. So we're gonna put root cert 01, for example, and then you put it here, the binaries that you have. So copy and then paste. That makes a tick mark, and then you create. It takes kind of 30 minutes to be created. And then what's next? So after you create the user VPN config, then you go back to your hub, secured hub here, and you can choose the user VPN point to site. And here is it is already configured because I configured it earlier, but I'm gonna show you how it looks like. So if we go here, it's the same. So when I press on user VPN, it's asking me to create a user VPN gateway. Then I'll press here, just choose the least one here. And then the configuration file that you already created earlier is gonna appear here. Then put an address space to be used by the point site VPN. Just use anything that does not overlap with your on-premises or on Azure. Use whatever you want. Then it will create for you something like this, and then you download the Virtual Hub VPN profile. After you download the Virtual Hub VPN user VPN profile, it will look like this. So I'm gonna open it. So you're gonna get such documents like this, this, and this. So what I'm gonna do is some 64-bit, so I'm gonna install this. So after you go through the installation, then it will create for you the VPN profile on your laptop or PC, whatever, or server that you want to connect with. Then you're gonna find it here, and then go to the VPN, open VPN, then this is what I already created. Then when you press connect here, I'm just gonna connect. Then it gets connected like this one. Then when we go back here to our virtual machine, there's a virtual machine here. Yeah, what's Europe? Then we need to connect through the private VPN. With our private IP, and then download RDP, same 144, yeah, then connect. Yes, so why it's not connecting? Because our firewall rule was deny all. We have to create one rule that allows everything inside just for testing, nothing else. Do not test in the production, please. Then we go back here, open our vWAN hub, virtual hub, security settings, firewall, and there's no firewall policy there. There's no, okay. Then we go to our port here and then add a policy. Then we have to create a new policy. So creating a new policy needs here policy, firewall policies here. So I'm gonna choose one new firewall policy, create it here, name it, for example, in my resource groups. So I'm gonna make it test 01 policy, or just easy test pol 01. Okay, and then I'm gonna put it here in my West Europe region. Then next, DNAT settings. If you want to resolve with the names, I'm not using it right now. Rules, yes, you can add a rule here. So I'm gonna add a new rule, and I will name it allow, for example, all. Then give a priority of 100. Allow. Then and the name, gotta name it all. I'll name it all. Then the source is asterisk, protocol any. It's just gonna use any protocol. Then I use any destination port, any IP. Just I'm opening everything just to ensure that connectivity is working from anywhere to anywhere. This is testing. Again, do not use or do not test this in the production. Then yeah, I skip those because I don't need them. Then create. So it's now creating the firewall policy. After creating the firewall policy, then it makes sense now that the VPN site, or so VPN point to site will work fine now. Okay, that deployment has been completed. Then we will go back to the resource here. Then we will check the rules that we have here. So one rule, okay, that we have defined and allowed. So now it's allowed secured hub. Okay. So we didn't attach any secured hubs here for this policy, or vice versa. We didn't attach the policy for the secured hub. Then we have to do this right now. Then we go back here, then press here, settings, firewall, go to the settings here, security providers, add a policy. Then we add this one here that we created. So after attaching the policy to the firewall of the Virtual WAN hub, so it's the Secured Virtual WAN hub here, you're gonna find it like this. And now when we connect through the point to site, it should work fine. Then now we are connected. Then let's connect to our virtual machine. And it works. That's awesome. Then and now we are in. As usual, I said that I'm cutting the upper part and the lower part from my screen for the recording purposes. So it only appears this part. Okay, but anyways, now it's working fine, and we are connected to our machine through the private IP address. Okay, so that was our demo today. One more thing that I wanted to do, the connection between the first virtual machine, this one, and the other one, but it didn't work, as I mentioned, due to, I think, a bug or a non-mature concept that Microsoft has adopted to connect the two hubs together, the secured hubs. The normal hubs works fine, but the secured hubs, even both of them or one of them, it's not working. I tested all of the routings, everything, but it doesn't help. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and we have reached the end of our episode. And after today's episode, we already finished the Azure Virtual WAN configuration on 3 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3. And we're gonna move to another topic next episode. I hope you enjoyed the video and the information that I shared with you. If you have any questions, any comments, please send it to me down there in the comments, or send it to me directly on my LinkedIn profile. Stay positive, stay tuned. Goodbye.